Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with my review of Aquaman. So, last night we saw Aquaman. For those who might not be aware of what it's about, after helping to stop Steppenwolf as a member of the Justice League, Aquaman must prevent a war between Atlantis and the surface world. And to be perfectly honest, it's a King Arthur story with superheroes copy pasted over it. Seriously, just listen as I explain talk what happens. So, quick thoughts. Honestly, it was better than I expected. This is something I'll go into if I ever do a review about on Justice League. But I honestly thought Jason Momoa's performance as Aquaman was one of the worst parts about Justice League. I referred to it as Aqua Bro because that's how it came off. The movie knows when to be lighthearted and when to actually be dark, serious, or even so far as dark. It's actually really pretty. There's some great effects shots. A lot of really great effects shots, which I'll get into later on in the review. And it's quite fun. It does have problems, which again I will get into later. So who all's in this movie? First off, we got Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry / Aquaman, the half Atlantean, half human son of Queen Atlanna of Atlantis, and a lighthouse keeper. Thought I was a hero after helping to stop Steppenwolf, and now has to prevent a war between the two worlds he's a part of. Amber Heard as Mera, daughter of King Nereus and ruler of one of the other undersea tribes, and betrothed of Orm. Is against the war with the surface and a supporter of Arthur's claim to the throne. Has the ability to manipulate water, which I think all of her tribe do, or at least the royals of her tribe. But I think it's all of them. Patrick Wilson as Orm, half-brother of Arthur and King of Atlantis. Not the biggest fan of his brother. Willem Dafoe as Vulko, vizier to Orm, type of advisor. I don't exactly know. Yeah. Ally and teacher of Arthur. Dolph Lundgren as King Nereus. As I mentioned, a ruler of one of the humanoid undersea tribes, father of Mera, and ally of the King of Atlantis. And that wording is very important. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. I really, really hope I pronounced the first name properly. As Manta, pirate and sworn enemy of Aquaman. Nicole Kidman as Queen Atlanna, Queen of Atlantis, and mother of both Arthur and Orm. Not a fan of arranged marriages. Tamira Morrison as Tom Curry, lighthouse keeper, father of Arthur. Even though his son has gills, can still drink him under the table. John Rhys Davies is the voice of the Brine King, who is the ruler of the Brine Kingdom. You really don't get much on him. It's more a case of John Rhys Davies is kind of a big deal acting-wise. Jimon Hansu as the voice of King Rico, ruler of the undersea fishermen Merfolk Kingdom. Again, it's Jimon Hansu. He is a big deal too. Julie Andrews is the voice of Carathen, who is the guardian to the Trident of Atlan. Randall Park is Dr. Stephen Shin, an Atlantis-obsessed oceanographer. And Sophia Forrest as the Fisherman Princess, who's heir to King Rico. Alright, spoiler-free breakdown. So we'll start with the beginning. Tom Curry finds Queen Atlanna washed ashore in 1985. The two fall in love and have a child, Arthur. Atlanna goes back to Atlantis to keep Arthur safe by marrying her betrothed, who ends up being the father of Orm. The present day, Aquaman stops a group of pirates attacking a Russian sub and saves the crew. That's the word I'm looking for. Meanwhile, Orm, Arthur's brother and the king of Atlantis, convinces Nereus, king of one of the other undersea tribes, to join him in attacking the surface. Nereus' daughter, Mera, tries to convince Arthur to stop Orm, though Arthur prefers to wait until Orm comes to him. However, his mind has changed after his father is nearly drowned by basically the best way to put this is a directed tidal wave. So, Act 2. Excuse me. Mira takes Arthur to a secret location on the ocean floor so the two of them can meet with Vulko, Orm's vizier, and discuss finding the trident of Atlan. And it goes into what the trident is and who King Atlan is, and also the backstory of Atlantis as a whole. So the way it works is that Atlantis used to be above the ocean floor, or above the ocean, sea level. But they got arrogant, and they made a new piece of technology that when they set it off, it dragged it caused Atlantis to sink. But luckily, it also saved everyone and allows them to evolve gills. And yeah, King Atlan, who was the king of Atlantis at the time, however, was just so down about what he had done that he went into exile with his trident. And there was a legend that a true king of Atlantis, a true heir to the throne of Atlantis, would be able to find his trident and unite the tribes. Anyway, also, Vulko, as shown in flashbacks for Acts 1 and 2, has been training Arthur for most of his life. Various things: swimming underwater, fighting with a trident. It's there's a lot of stuff that he's been teaching Arthur how to do. So Vulko basically tells Arthur that the only way to stop Orm's war is to get the trident. Arthur, however, Orm's soldiers bust in on the meeting, and while Mira and Vulko hide, they arrest Arthur after he beats the crap out of a bunch of them. While being chained in front of in front of Orm, he basically challenges Orm to a duel. And Orm even, "Are you formally challenging me?" He's like, "Well, okay, yeah, I am." So anyways, of course, the two fight. Mira is livid. It's like, "This is not the plan, you freaking moron." But Mira prevents Orm from killing Arthur, and the two escape Atlantis. Barely. There's a nice little nod to Pinocchio also in their escape. Anyways, so moving on to Act 3. While Orm and Nereus attempt to intimidate the fisherman clan into joining their cause, Arthur and Mira track down the trident following a series of clues. During their search, they're attacked by the survivor of the pirates at the beginning, now calling himself Manta after his grandfather, who was they said he was the first Black Frogman, and a squad of Orm's elite guard, all of whom are defeated, though, by the pair. Moving on to Act 4, while Orm plans his next move, Arthur and Mira make their way to the Hidden Sea, which is the trident's resting place, making their way to it through the home of the now cannibalistic Trench tribe. And the Trench look scary as fuck. Like they did a great job on those. I mean, I was impressed, like legit impressed. At the Hidden Sea, Arthur confronts Carathan, the guardian of the trident, and convinces her that he is the rightful king. Arthur takes the trident and finds armor that matches his classic look from the comics. He and Mera head to the Brine Kingdom to stop Orm and his forces. Mera suggests that Arthur take Orm to the surface to continue their fight, as Orm will be out of his element. Whereas initially, Orm was in his element and Arthur was out of his. Arthur does so, finishes the fight with Orm and defeats him, and takes his rightful place as King of Atlantis. There's a mid-credit stinger, which is... honestly was not what I was expecting it to be. So yeah, anyways. Ups and downs in the movie. Ups. I thought that Jason Momoa actually did a much better job playing Aquaman than he did in Justice League. The Aqua Bro aspects are still there, but they work. Especially knowing what the character's been through. It works a lot better that way. And that's something we'll get to later. The visual effects shots are generally, to understate things, very nice looking. Shit, I was going to say. The shots of Atlantis itself are on par with Los Angeles in either of the Blade Runner movies. Like just the sprawling shots of Los Angeles. You're just like, oh wow. And they're a sight to see. The trench, oh my god, yeah, they're obviously CG, but they look amazing. And seriously, they look, they look kind of scary. I was impressed, having really my only point of reference for them being the HeroClix figure. I'll straight say it, I've never been a fan of Aquaman. I've never been a fan. It's the kind of thing where I'll accept Aquaman with the Justice League, but I've never had an interest to read his comics. Now I should have an interest to go back and read some of at least the older stories, maybe see about the newer stuff. Anyway, this also does something that hold on a second. Sorry, I've been talking a bit longer. It manages to pull off something that most comic book movies that try fail at, and that's two villains of equal standing. I was amazed at how well it pulled off both Orm and Banta, giving backstory, motivations, and traits about each of them. And it's like, okay, yeah, there we go. It told origins, including Manta, Orm, but also Arthur, Atlantis as a whole. I mean, the exposition felt much better, and a lot of now not all of it, but some of it was shown and not told. Some of it was shown and told. A little bit of it is told instead of shown. But yeah, it's really a lot of the exposition. It works with with Arthur's circumstances, being the outsider, the origins of Atlantis, for example. Being told all the legends of Atlantis by Mera. It's like, oh, because he's not from Atlantis, he doesn't know this shit. Just as she wouldn't know the first thing about, Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. But I'll bet Arthur knows. Now, yeah, I've kind of been gushing a bit. But now time to talk. Now time to get to, yeah. I did mention there are some downsides to this. A lot of the effects shots feel distracting, especially from glaring logical inconsistencies. A prime example, once again, is the trench. That while running from the trench while trying to escape the trench in the ocean while using lit flares, Okay, I mean not the best idea, but Mira doesn't create a ball of air, possibly a large ball of air to use to get through. Even though it's shown she can totally do that. It's that whole thing of, plot convenience. Like, oh well, we want everybody, we want to scare everyone here, so let's forget that she can. So, oh yeah, that thing she did earlier, yeah, let's forget about that. Another really bad. Now there were some bad effects shots. One of the worst being an attempt at de-aging Willem Dafoe. There's a point where Volko is talking to a I want to say maybe teenage Arthur, and they tried to make Willem Dafoe look younger, and yeah, it's about on par with trying to hide a mustache. I'll put it that way. It just, oh god, the close shot was just. I mean, Willem Dafoe is creepy looking enough. That was even worse. To be perfectly honest, I think that the movie should have been redone. The way the movie should have been done is that it take out everything concerning Arthur with the Justice League, and then and it should have come out last year with Arthur trying to find his place both on the surface and in Atlantis. And then have Justice League come out this year, because, in all honesty, I don't know. It would have fit. Well, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it should have come out a year ago in place of Justice League. Then there was a lot of slow motion scenes that felt like someone just said, "Oh hey, okay, so you see this slow motion shot for 300? I want to replicate that as many times as we possibly can that it makes sense." And I mean, don't get me wrong, slow motion's cool and all, but don't overuse it. And this movie did get terribly close to overusing it. So, anyways, overall opinion, it was better. It was a much better movie than I expected. Probably the best King Arthur movie I've seen in a while. Let's be honest. The trident is Excalibur. Carathan is, we kind of combine Lady in the Lake and the Sword in the Stone. But yeah, and you make some, have some add-ons. Oh yes, there's but yeah, it's a King Arthur movie, plain and simple. No Knights of the Round Table yet, but yeah, it was much better than Justice League, though nowhere near as good as Wonder Woman was. It had a pretty solid cast. There was some nice little Easter eggs. One surprise was showing. There was a scene. There are some scenes that show the underwater pollution, and not a single LexCorp logo, Wayne Enterprises logo, anything that relates to any of the other characters. Except for the mentions of the events of Justice League. This honestly feels like it could have been in a standalone movie, which was probably intended, but yeah. So anyways, my overall rating is a 3.5. That's honestly a high 3. They did good. They really did good. They did a lot better than I anticipated, and I'm actually kind of I'm not looking forward to Shazam. It's not like I'm not looking forward to Shazam with bated breath, but my expectations are a little higher after this. Anywho, that's it for today. Next week or so, videos will be sporadic with the holiday, and I'll be going as I'll be going to my parents' house tomorrow. So anyway, as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.